Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon, once said, "Your personal brand is what other people say about you when you're not in the room." If you've ever been wondering about how to build a personal brand within your company, then I'm super excited that you're watching this video today. Because in today's video, I want to talk with you about everything personal brand. I want to do a deep dive with you into all of the different things that you should know about in order to build a personal brand, promote a personal brand, strengthen your personal brand, and obviously also the advantages of building a personal brand. So without further ado, I would say, let's jump into the main video. Hi, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Julia Arndt and I'm a peak performance coach and stress management trainer, and I am super excited that you are here today in order to learn more about how to build and strengthen your personal brand. This topic actually came up in a one-on-one coaching client session, and my client asked me, how can I build a personal brand? So I went to sit down and do some research on how to build a personal brand, and I thought it was so interesting that I wanted to make sure to share that kind of information with you as well. So I would say, let's jump first of all into the definition of personal branding. Personal branding is the conscious and intentional effort to create and influence public perception of an individual by positioning them as an authority in their industry, elevating their credibility, and differentiating themselves from the competition to ultimately advance their career, widen their circle of influence, and have a larger impact. That sounds really powerful and really exciting, right? So obviously, building your own personal brand, especially if you want to advance in your career within your company, is incredibly important. And you might ask yourself, yeah, okay, I can see that, but why is that so important? So I do want to spend with you a couple of minutes on the advantages of building a personal brand. And here they are. Number one, a well-crafted personal brand allows you to clearly show and tell other people who you are and what you are about. Number two, it can advance your career, increase your influence, and help you have a bigger personal and professional impact. Number three, it doesn't matter what industry you're in, a compelling personal brand at work can help boost your chances of promotion, bring greater responsibility, and open up more opportunities. On a more day-to-day level, it can simply improve your chances of fulfilling meaningful work. And finally, a strong personal brand can help you give you credibility and differentiate yourself from others, which is obviously something that you already heard in the definition of personal branding as well. So building a personal brand in your company is absolutely powerful, and it is absolutely important if you want to be successful and if you want to advance in your career, get the next promotion, make more money, and so on, right? Lots of cool things. I think honestly, it's also just really powerful to know that about yourself, right? I think it is good to know yourself. And when we are talking about personal branding, we actually also have to talk about personal awareness and in some sort or form emotional intelligence, because emotional intelligence is made of really understanding yourself and acting based on your own awareness of what's important for you, what's not important for you, what your priorities are, what kind of decisions you're making, and so on. So these are exactly the questions that you should ask yourself if you wonder now, how do I build my personal brand? Where do I start, right? And when we're talking about personal branding, there are two things that are super important for you. Number one is the question, what are you good at? What are the skills that you master and where you shine? And then the second piece of that is values. And when it comes to values, you should ask yourself the question, what is actually important for me? What do I want to stand for? What drives me in my life? What drives my decisions, right? And so those are super powerful questions, and I highly encourage you to take some time to reflect on these different things. You know, oftentimes we're watching a video like this and we're like, yeah, okay, that makes sense, but we're actually not taking the time to do these different exercises. So I highly encourage you to maybe even pause this video right now, take a piece of paper and a pen and ask yourself, number one, what are the skills that I'm really good at? And number 2, what are my values? And if you are not really clear about these different questions, then I have actually 2 other YouTube videos for you that will help you to find an answer to these things. I actually just recorded a YouTube video about how to find your passion, and there are similar journaling prompts in that video as well, so highly encourage you to watch that one. And the second one is a video on values, how to identify your values. And I'm actually sharing with you a full list of values in order to help you get clarity on what is actually important for me and what do I want to stand for. So once you have answered these 2 important questions, then you can go into promoting your personal brand. But stop. There's one more thing that is actually really important to do as you are building your personal brand. You want to make sure that your personal brand is authentic and real, and other people see you as that person as well. So once you have created your own ideas of your own personal brand, it can be very helpful to talk with a couple of people in your life in order to make sure that they actually validate those different topics. So talk to your coworkers, talk to your managers, no matter if they are current or previous managers, talk to your friends, talk to your family members, talk to your partner, and ask them to describe you in 3 words, for example, right? What would they say about you? What would they say about your work? What would they say about your values? And make sure that it is aligned, because if they come up with a complete different list of things, then there might be some discrepancy. And you obviously want to make sure that you are fully clear on who you are and what you stand for, okay? So that's a really helpful exercise. So now that you have your personal brand, now that you know what's important for you, you can ask yourself next the question, how can I promote my personal brand? And the way on how to do that is obviously, first of all, to make sure that you have a good online presence. This is super important. Maybe you're looking for a new job and you want to make sure that your personal brand is super strong. I would always highly encourage you to make sure that, for example, your LinkedIn profile is up to date, that it looks good, that you have some great recommendations, maybe that highlight those values and those skills that you have identified for yourself through other people, and to just make sure that you're looking very professional, right? Your personal brand wants to come through in all different kinds of ways, and online presence nowadays is super important, no matter if you have your own business or if you're working at a company, because you can be sure that people will look you up, no matter if it is people that you're working with or even if you're looking for a new job. And you know, new people that are interviewing you, recruiters, all of these different kinds of people, they might definitely check out what is already available on the internet about you. Another way on how you can promote your personal brand is by creating synergies with other people. You can, for example, think about who are other people that are really good at the skills that I'm really good at as well. Or who are the people that are really good at some skills that you would really like to develop, right? And then it can be really powerful to create synergies with these people in order to also bring your name out there, right? Because if you're just sitting in your room and you're thinking about all of these different things, but you're not taking action, then nothing really is going to happen. Another powerful thing that you can do is to find a personal mentor or sponsor. And these people are basically there in order to sponsor you, in order to talk positively about you, in order to tell people about you, in order to help you find good new initiatives and projects where you can shine, where you can apply your skills, where you can differentiate yourself from others, and where you can make sure that people start talking about you very positively when you're not in the room. And finally, the question of course is always as well, how can you really strengthen your personal brand? So now that you're maybe aware of these different skills and values, you can ask yourself the question, are other people really aware of that yet? Or how can I further strengthen that personal brand and make sure that other people are starting to recognize these important values and skills in myself as well? One thing that you can, for example, do in order to strengthen your personal brand is to volunteer for initiatives that are important for you and that are in line with your values and your skills, because obviously that makes people talk about you, and you can obviously share these insights with other people as well. And it's not just initiatives that you can volunteer for, but also, of course, for example, for projects at work. And your values and skills should really be a guide for you to make decisions in the future. You want to be aligned with yourself, right? People should see that, you know, for example, you're a really strong communicator and you want to, you know, show that on a regular basis. This should guide your decisions. For example, how do you write a follow-up email, or how do you communicate in an important meeting with other big stakeholders? So those are all things that I highly encourage you to think about as you are continuing your career and professional journey. You can also use your personal brand as a filter for saying yes and no to different projects. That's really important because I think oftentimes we just want to get external validation and recognition, so we just kind of say yes to everything. But once you want to really establish your personal brand, especially as you're climbing the corporate ladder and you are getting into more and more important roles and responsibilities, then you want to make sure that your personal brand is really clear and people know what you're investing in, right? So make sure that your personal brand is also a guide for you to filter good projects to work on and not so good projects to work on. So that's all I wanted to share with you today about personal branding. Super interesting, right? So I hope that you learned a ton. I hope that you took some time in order to ask yourself some important questions, and I also hope that you're feeling really inspired and motivated to build your own personal brand within your company. I wish you all the best with that. If you have any other questions for me, don't hesitate to leave me a comment down below and ask me any questions that you have. Super happy to chat with you about it, and give me a thumbs up if you like this video as well. Subscribe to my channel, and I really do hope to see you in one of my next videos. Take care and see you really soon.